In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, Vietnamese businesses to cope with U.S. new 25% tax on imported steel and aluminum products. Later on, Quoc named the fastest growing travel destination in Southeast Asia. In our world news, Hamas sets conditions for hostage release.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is currently 3 p.m. local time and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Lin Lei with the latest updates. Now, during a regular meeting with commercial banks on Tuesday morning, Prime Minister Phie urged the banking system to lead efforts in boosting growth, controlling inflation, and stabilizing the macroeconomy. The Prime Minister outlined 8 key tasks and solutions for banks, emphasizing the need to reduce operational costs and sacrifice some profits to lower interest rates, actions that would support the economy, citizens, and businesses. He directed banks to focus credit on both traditional and emerging growth drivers while creating preferential credit packages for priority sectors. The Prime Minister also stressed the importance of digital transformation and implementing the Politburo's Resolution 57. He called for the banks to support 3 strategic initiatives, providing preferential credit for social housing development, assisting young people and disadvantaged groups, and helping eliminate substandard housing. Cooperation with state management agencies to address long-standing project delays was also highlighted as crucial. U.S. President Donald Trump officially signed an executive order imposing a 25% tax on all steel and aluminum products imported into the country. This tariff rate will take effect from March the 4th without exceptions or exemptions. Canada, Brazil, and Mexico are the 3 largest exporters of steel and aluminum to the U.S. Steel imports primarily support automobile production, consumer goods, and infrastructure projects, including bridges, roads, and oil and gas pipelines. Aluminum imports serve the beverage industry, automobile and aircraft manufacturing, electrical wiring, and other infrastructure needs. The U.S. International Trade Commission reported that during President Donald Trump's first term, steel and aluminum tariffs increased the prices of these 2 items by 2.4% and 1.6% respectively. Meanwhile, in Vietnam, businesses and associations have prepared for the newly announced tariffs and are developing specific plans for upcoming orders.
U.S. President Donald Trump's announced 25% tariffs will apply to all imported steel and aluminum. The action, which takes effect March 4, ends exemptions previously granted to certain countries and raises the duty rate on both metals to 25%. Since 2018, the U.S. has imposed tariffs of 10% on Vietnamese aluminum and 25% on Vietnamese steel. Under the new policy, all Vietnamese aluminum exports to the U.S. will face the higher rate. The Vietnam Aluminum Association reports that despite industry preparations, the change caught many businesses by surprise.
This is a common challenge for exporting businesses, whether they export directly to the U.S. or engage in aluminum and steel exports in general. Companies have been negotiating with customers to clarify the damages related to signed orders. For upcoming orders, businesses will implement cost-cutting measures to ensure job security for their workers.
Businesses need to continue assessing the situation to implement appropriate responses to global developments, diversify their markets toward those with FTAs with Vietnam, and comply with U.S. regulations on origin certification.
In 2024, Vietnam exported nearly $480 million USD worth of aluminum and aluminum products to the U.S., representing a 9.5% increase from the previous year.
The Ministry of Science and Technology is developing the draft revised law on atomic energy, seeking public feedback and registration in the legislative program of the 15th National Assembly for 2025. Finalizing the law will provide a legal basis to accelerate the implementation of the Ninh Thuận nuclear power project and ensure the safe and sustainable development of atomic energy in Vietnam.
The draft revised law on atomic energy consists of 14 chapters and 74 articles, an increase of 2 chapters compared to the 2008 law. According to assessments, after 17 years, the 2008 law on atomic energy has not kept pace with the new requirements and guidelines of the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, on safety, security, and inspections. Therefore, revisions are necessary to ensure compliance and relevance.
The most significant shortcoming of the 2008 Atomic Energy Law is the coordination between agencies and ministries. This issue will be addressed under the new revision. The second major improvement is the addition of regulations on inspection and safety monitoring of nuclear power plants and emergency response in case of incidents at nuclear power plants.
Some provisions of the 2008 Atomic Energy Law have been deemed impractical and unable to keep pace with the rapid advancements in nuclear science. Licensing procedures and project implementation regulations must also be revised.
It must clearly define key permits for site approval, design, construction, trial operation, and official operation. These permits guide investors and enable regulatory agencies to assess and issue approvals for project implementation.
This law also ensures compliance with Vietnam's international commitments, particularly on nuclear safety in power plant projects.
The Ministry of Science and Technology has proposed 4 policy groups to promote nuclear energy development, socialization, and decentralization in state management. These policies aim to support the Ninh Thuận nuclear power project while ensuring safety, security, and the peaceful use of nuclear energy in Vietnam.
Vietnam's export of wood and wood products hit a record-breaking $16.25 billion last year, surpassing the 2022 high. For 2025, project exports could reach an impressive $18 billion. The Vietnam Timber and Forest Products Association, or V4S, credits this success to recovering consumer demand in major markets worldwide. However, January's exports showed signs of slowing, with figures just above $1.4 billion, reflecting a 3.7% decrease from the same period last year. While the 2025 outlook remains positive, the agriculture industry cautions that final results will depend on several factors, such as global economic recovery, consumer demand, trade policies in key markets, and local enterprises' competitiveness. Vietnam's wood industry faces several challenges, including origin control, trade fraud, and global competition. To reach its $18 billion export target, the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development is expanding timber exports, promoting trade, and seeking solutions to enter new markets proactively.
The timber company manufactures wooden furniture, doors, and flooring for both domestic sales and exports to the U.S., Europe, Japan, and South Korea. Despite focusing primarily on exports, the company maintains confidence amid current global uncertainties.
Exporting to international markets requires strict origin traceability. We are confident about maintaining transparent and legal origins while striving to diversify our markets.
While no business wants to depend on a single customer or market, maintaining independence requires collaboration and support through industry associations.
In challenging times, we must stand together. If each business operates alone, overcoming external obstacles in a timely manner would be much harder.
While traditional Vietnamese timber export markets are likely to change, growth opportunities remain strong as businesses shift toward recycled materials and sustainable wooden furniture and handicraft production.
Based on mutually beneficial economic and trade relations, Vietnam would have a solid foundation to maintain and ensure that exports and investment continue as key growth drivers.
Vietnam currently exports timber and wood products to more than 160 countries and territories. Given the current growth momentum and combined efforts of businesses and regulatory agencies, Vietnam's wood sector is poised to reach new milestones and strengthen its global market position.
In Bạc Liêu, salt farmers are hard at work preparing for the new harvest season. Following a successful harvest last year, there is a renewed sense of optimism driving the community to continue their time-honored tradition of salt production. Since the Lunar New Year, the area has experienced plenty of sunshine and stable weather, creating the perfect conditions for salt cultivation. Many farmers have started harvesting crops early with positive signs of increasing salt prices. The future looks bright as experts predict prices will continue to rise in the upcoming months, providing a hope for the industry's continued growth. Another fun fact, Bạc Lieu's salt-making tradition spans over 100 years, earning favor in both domestic and international markets. In the past, local producers relied on traditional earth-field methods. Recently, salt farmers and cooperatives have shifted to clean salt production with integrated supply chains, greatly improving efficiency.
Xuan Dinh Cooperative in Dien Hai Commune, Dong Hai District, Bạc Liêu Province, has adopted a clean salt production model using HDPE tarpaulins for its latest harvest. This method has improved the salt field's productivity by 2 to 3 times over traditional methods.
Salt produced on tarpaulins sells at higher prices and has better quality. The output is greater, yielding 3 harvests per month compared to 2 harvests with the traditional method.
The shift from traditional methods to clean salt production marks a key milestone in Bạc Lieu's 2021-2030 plan for enhancing salt production and processing. The plan aims to improve productivity, quality, and product variety. Beyond the domestic market, Bạc Lieu has been exporting both raw and refined salt for many years.
Market connections are looking promising. I hope to produce more value-added products from salt. The livelihood of salt workers will improve if the demand for these products is stable.
Our products, such as pepper salt and chili salt, have been exported to South Korea. In the future, we hope to export more value-added salt products.
With its coastal location and favorable natural conditions, Bạc Lieu produces dry, firm salt with a distinctive mild taste. The province's salt-making tradition also carries profound historical and cultural significance, having been recognized as a national intangible cultural heritage.
In January, Vietnam's total seafood export value reached over $774 million, marking a 3.3% increase compared to the same period in 2024. Among the key products, shrimp continues to be the standout performer. According to the Vietnam Association of Seafood Exporters and Producers (VTV), shrimp exports alone exceeded $300 million, representing a 24% increase year-on-year and accounting for over 39% of total seafood exports. Based on information from Rabobank in the Netherlands shared by VTV, the global shrimp industry is undergoing adjustments. As production slows in major exporting countries to balance supply and demand, shrimp prices are expected to recover in the first half of 2025. This recovery is anticipated to be driven by rising demand from major markets like the United States and Europe. Before we move on, let's have a look at the exchange rate between the Vietnam Đồng and some world currencies in today's trading session. Coming up next on VTV News. High salinity levels expected in the Mekong Delta this week. and Quoc was named as the fastest growing travel destination in Southeast Asia. Welcome back to VTV News Live. Now on to other important updates. Due to the lunar January full moon tide, salinity levels are expected to rise significantly across the Mekong Delta this week, reaching beyond Ho Giang province. The 4 gram per liter salinity line, a level that makes water unsuitable for drinking and production, is projected to push 30 to 55 kilometers inland with the tide. This saltwater intrusion will begin Tuesday and continue until Sunday, February the 16th, before gradually subsiding. Salinity will be higher than early February levels in some areas, particularly in Cà Mau, where the Sông Đốc station could record levels up to 31.6 gram per liter. Water flow from the upper Mekong River heavily influences these salinity levels. Local authorities are advised to conserve water, monitor water quality closely, and prepare for potential sudden salinity increases. As spring arrives, the rhythmic beat of drums heralds village festivals across Vietnam. While large-scale festivals have grown in popularity, traditional village festivals during the Lunar New Year remain an irreplaceable part of Vietnamese culture, especially for those with rural roots. Let's explore this festive atmosphere in our following report.
In Dai Phuong village of Dan Phuong, the atmosphere is already buzzing with excitement even before the festival begins. The village roads come alive with colorful flags and prith.
Following village tradition, the festival takes place every 5 years. It serves as an opportunity for all generations to honor and remember their ancestors' cultural heritage.
The festivals are also a time for villagers to pay homage to the village's protective deity and to their blessings for prosperity and bountiful harvest. While ancestor worship unites families, worshiping the village tutelary deity strengthens the bonds within the entire community.
My family went to the festival to show respect and gratitude to the village's tutelary god and ancestors, and to pray for health and peace for the family.
These festivals also provide villagers with a period of rest after their harvests.
The festival features folk games like tug-of-war, wrestling, pig catching, and duck releasing. These activities are meant to energize the villagers and encourage them for the upcoming winter-spring crop season and other business.
This year's Dai Phuong Village Festival holds special significance, as its 400-year-old communal house has received official recognition as a special national monument.
Our villagers are very proud and eagerly await the festival and the special national monuments recognition. This is very meaningful. No matter how far we go or how successful we are, we always remember our roots and homeland.
The village festival is more than just a day of celebration. It's a bridge connecting past to present, bringing generations back to their roots. It strengthens the bonds between villagers, fostering a deep sense of community.
A ceremony is scheduled to be held at the Thăng Long Imperial Citadel on February the 14th to mark the recognition of Hanoi's 2 craft villages, Bát Tràng Pottery Village in Gia Lâm District and Vạn Phúc Silk Weaving Village in Hà Đông District, as members of the World Crafts Cities Network. According to the Hanoi Municipal Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, Bát Tràng Pottery Village and Vạn Phúc Silk Weaving Village were officially recognized as members of the World Crafts Cities Networks in late 2024. They are the first 2 traditional craft villages in Vietnam to be approved as global network members. Phu Quoc, located in the Kinh Giang province of Vietnam, has officially been named the fastest growing travel destination in Southeast Asia. This recognition comes from Travel Off Path, a leading travel publication. Quoc took the top spot on the list of the 5 most notable destinations, all considered the fastest growing tourism hubs in the region. International visitors benefit from a visa exemption policy that allows them to explore the island's breathtaking natural beauty and enjoy a variety of thrilling activities. Alongside Quoc, Singapore, Thailand's Phuket and Bangkok, and Malaysia's Kuala Lumpur also made the list. Quoc is quickly becoming a must-visit location for tourists worldwide. The Vietnamese community made history by marching with traditional U.S'S for the first time at the 2025 Lunar New Year parade in Paris on Monday. Their participation left a strong impression on local residents and helped promote Vietnamese culture in France. Our report from Paris.
The parade took place in Paris's 13th arrondissement, a district known for its large Asian population, particularly its Chinese community. For the first time, local media referred to the event as the Lunar New Year parade instead of Chinese New Year. While Chinese businesses and associations in Paris initially established the parade, other Asian communities gradually joined in smaller numbers over the years. This year, the Vietnamese community enhanced the celebration by showcasing elegant U.S'S, captivating both Parisians and Vietnamese attendees.
I can see Vietnamese people and lots of my friends participating this year.
I'm delighted to see Vietnamese people.
It's very beautiful. I like it very much.
The parade was organized by the Francophone Friendship Association and other Vietnamese associations in Paris. Despite being a modest start, they have helped to change the French community's perception towards the Lunar New Year, particularly among Asian communities.
Following discussions with the Francophone Association, the organizers decided to rename the event the Lunar New Year Parade instead of Chinese New Year. Vietnam should join in such a large-scale French festival so that they can understand more fully the importance of the Lunar New Year festival to Vietnam and other Asian countries.
This participation marks a significant milestone for the Vietnamese community, establishing their cultural presence among Asian communities in France during the Lunar New Year celebrations.
Coming up next in our world news. Global markets brace for the impact of U.S. new tariffs. And later on, Hamas sets conditions for hostage release. Now moving on to our world news, countries worldwide have expressed concern about U.S. steel and aluminum tariffs' impact on both the global economy and domestic U.S. businesses. Several nations have indicated they are preparing responsive measures.
Reacting to the new U.S. tariff, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz warned that imposing higher tariffs would only harm all parties.
We will examine this closely as the European Union when it officially reaches us, and that's why we can only say something very cautiously about it now, but with great clarity. Anyone who imposes tariffs must expect counter tariffs.
According to analysts, tariffs could backfire, hurting U.S. businesses and consumers. Many domestic U.S. industries that use metals to make cars, canned goods, and other goods would face higher prices once the tariffs take effect.
Sudden tariffs to a system, there isn't a lot of good that comes out of that. Transaction price of the vehicle, it can't climb significantly from where it's at. It's at an all-time high for a new vehicle right now, and the consumer doesn't want to absorb that. That's going to have a back push on demand, which causes bigger problems down the line with regards to production cuts and job losses.
Following the steel and aluminum tariff increases, U.S. President Donald Trump warned of potential future tariffs on cars, semiconductor chips, and pharmaceuticals from global markets. He further stated that the U.S. would take retaliatory action against any countries that respond with their own tariffs.
Hamas announced it is ready to fulfill its commitment to release hostages on time, provided that Israel stops violating the ceasefire deal. This statement comes amid escalating tensions over the implementation of the ceasefire agreement in the Gaza Strip. Hamas emphasized that it has already fulfilled all its obligations under the agreement completely and on time. The mediators of the Gaza ceasefire deal fear the agreement could collapse after Hamas accused Israel on Monday of failing to properly implement the deal. Additionally, Hamas has temporarily suspended hostage releases until further notice. A lack of rules is dangerous, but too many rules is equally problematic. This was French President Emmanuel Macron's message at the Artificial Intelligence Summit in Paris. The event, co-hosted by France and India, attracted global leaders, technology industry executives, and scientists from over 100 countries. At the conference, France expressed its ambition to establish both itself and Europe as a global center for artificial intelligence alongside the U.S. and China. The key challenge for France and Europe lies in balancing AI development, which requires vast amount of data, with protecting fundamental European values, particularly personal privacy and copyright. The conference discussions focused on artificial intelligence, impact on public good, jobs, culture, trustworthiness, and global governance.
90 terawatt-hour. 90.
And now, before we say goodbye, let's have a look at the weather forecast for Vietnam and other locations in the world. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website, our YouTube channel, or download a mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.